All right, so it's New Year's Eve right now. It's in the morning. So this is the time that a video that I've always wanted to do, and that is an actual whole video on my DVD collection. During the pandemic, I made a video about my Blu-rays, and now that was 2 years ago. Jesus Christ! Now I'm actually going to talk about just everything that I own. And so here's my layout. So upstairs in my room, I have a shelf that is just dedicated to my collections, the collection like Arrow and Criterion's. And then on the bottom, the middle two shelves are movies that I love. These are just great movies that I love to watch. They would all be like in a big list of just favorite movies that I love and I would take inspiration from. So here I'm going to go through all of them right now. So starting off is the Arrow / Criterion collections. I haven't been posting them anymore. I'm just a little done posting these videos. But recently I have started collecting Arrow Blu-rays. So I'll just talk about the 3 that I bought so far. So first up, Spine AV254 RoboCop. This is fucking great Blu-ray, fucking great movie, love it all, and I really want to explore more of Paul Verhoeven. So the 2 I haven't sort of all seen. Flash Gordon by Dilo De Laurentiis, an obvious cash-in from the 80s, cash-in on Star Wars. And I thought this was like a bad guilty pleasure movie, like the Masters of the Universe. But actually, no, it's got a good Rotten Tomato score, so I'd like to check that out. The Last Starfighter by Nicholas Castle, the original Michael Myers stunt actor. And I saw a little bit of this when I was at long time ago at my grandparents' house and had never finished it. But you know, it's an 80s science fiction action movie, and that's like the type of movies I like to watch from the 80s. So now on to my Criterions. You've seen some of them, and some of them you haven't seen all of them. Alright, so starting off with Spine number 2, the earliest one I have. Seven Samurai. I'm not a big Seven Samurai guy. I'm really not. I watched it, and the thing is that I thought there was going to be a lot more big battle scenes, which I know Akira Kurosawa does have in big like action scenes in his movies. A lot of people says watch Throne of Blood, and I also like to watch, I think, Hidden Fortress, which is the inspiration for Star Wars. And even in this movie, Seven Samurai, you can tell a lot of like stuff that would come from Star Wars. Brazil, my favorite, probably one of the best, just like science fiction, dark comedies from Terry Gilliam. Haven't seen anything of Terry Gilliam yet, so I don't want to claim him as a great director yet, because I've only seen just this and his Monty Python work. I haven't seen anything else, but Brazil, great movie, love it. Rushmore, great Wes Anderson film. It's one of the top 4, top 4 favorite of him. Love Bill Murray. Love Jason Schwartzman. His like earliest role. I think his first role. Really funny comedy. Love it. Carnival of Souls. So this is the movie that my uncle said that The Sixth Sense really took from. So I sort of spoiled the movie for you right there, but you just gotta watch it. It's great. Chasing Amy, the cheapest Criterion collection I ever bought, and you can easily tell that this is a very old one. I bought this at Rite Aid for like $1 or $2. Haven't seen it though, and I've never seen a Kevin Smith movie at all. Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee joint. This is a pretty big one for one movie, because it's got the Do the Right Thing script, and to cover art. Do the Right Thing. I've only seen this and The Five Bloods. I have another one of his movies on the Criterion that I'll talk about later, but I like to see more Spike Lee. I really do like this movie. Great commentary on like cultures. I don't want to get too political about this, but yeah, good movie. All right, Hitchcock's Rebecca. Hitchcock is pretty big on the Criterion Collection. Haven't watched it yet. I have another Hitchcock movie that I haven't seen yet on the Criterion. Hitchcock is a director that, like, I'm surprised, like, I gotta keep seeing just more of him. Because I love Psycho, I love Rear Window. Vertigo is decent. I'm not a big fan of The Birds. But I really do want to see more of him. 157. I've been reading the spine numbers. The Royal Tenenbaums. My third favorite of the Wes Anderson films. Love this movie. Great movie to watch during Thanksgiving. It's just a great Wes Anderson film. I love Gene Hackman. I love Luke Wilson, and this is like the last movie Luke Wilson did with Wes Anderson. I'm very mad about that. I'd like to see Luke Wilson in another Wes Anderson movie. He's definitely not in his next two movies, because we're getting 2 Wes Anderson movies next year. And if you're not a big Wes Anderson fan, you're probably not excited for that. But if you're like me, very excited for that. Notorious. I could be wrong. It's either this or Shadow of the Doubt that this was like this is his favorite movie. Notorious. His favorite, Hitchcock's favorite film. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Very famous movie. Very famous cult film from the 90s. Hunter S. Thompson. Movie about drugs. Got a lot of actors in it besides Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. Richard Linklater's Slacker. I've been getting into some Linklater recently. I've watched Dazed and Confused, Everybody Wants Some, the Before trilogy, School of Rock, and his newest one that I'll talk about on my, when I do like a list video. I haven't seen Slacker, his very first movie, and it's like this, Reservoir Dogs, Clerks, like the quintessential independent movie from the 90s. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Spine 300. I think this is like his lowest rated movie. But I actually do like this movie. I'd like to watch it again. My dad really hates this movie, though. Great movie. Dazed and Confused. I watched it and loved it. My problem was, I sort of watched it the wrong way. I watched it over the course of 2 nights. Like, it's a 3-hour movie, but no, it's an hour and like 42. Dumb mistake by me, so this summer I'm going to give it another chance, because it's a summer movie. 450, Bottle Rocket. Wes Anderson's very first fully feature-length movie. It's alright, it's a good movie. It's not his best. I did have a Wes Anderson ranking if you'd like to watch it, but it's decent. The Thin Red Line. The only Terrence Malick movie I've ever seen. And I know there's a lot of people that are really big into Terrence Malick. I think I'd like to see Badlands. His very first movie looks interesting. Martin Sheen. I have The Giving Tree somewhere. The Tree of Life. What the hell? This movie famously was heavily cut down. It was like 6 hours or 9 hours. It was a very long movie. Got heavily cut. So we're stuck with a very shortened movie. It's not long. It's like a minute longer than Saving Private Ryan. 539 House. So very famous Japanese horror film. I plan on watching it next October for Halloween. Seen people review it. Seems like a very psychedelic movie. The Darjeeling Limited, another underrated Wes Anderson film. I love Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, and Jason Schwartzman's performances. They have great chemistry together. And kind of goes into this. It's still weird that Luke Wilson haven't made another movie. I don't know what happened behind the scenes with those guys. 575. The Killing. Stanley Kubrick. This is like number one on like a best heist list. I would like to check it out. Kubrick, been getting into him lately. It's the only one that I have. 12 Angry Men. I haven't technically finished this movie. I've seen the opening and the rest of like Act 2 because I watched this during English class last year. Really loved the play, and I really did like this movie. Sidney Lumet. I gotta see this movie again. It's great. Godzilla, the first one, which is also paired with the King of the Monsters American edit cut. Technically, I haven't seen the Japanese cut, which everyone's gonna kill me on. Harold and Maude, terrific black comedy. Maybe one of my favorite black comedies. Bud Cort, Ruth Gordon, they have great chemistry together. It's a really just well done, quirky film. Me and John Malkovich. Love to rewatch this again. It's a great movie from the great year of 1999. It's very weird. And it's surprisingly the only Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman movie that they have on the collection. I'm going to be watching this film later for the guy's new film. Following, so I plan on doing a Christopher Nolan ranking, and I hear this is like the best quality DVD, Blu-ray to watch it on. It's a mad, 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 mad world. It's James Rolfe's favorite movie, and it's a huge comedy with a bunch of people in it. I gotta see it. Yeah. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Surprisingly not my favorite of Wes Anderson. I'd like to watch it again. I don't think it's bad, it's not my favorite of him. I don't think it's as good as Isle of Dogs either. Big Chill. My dad really loves this movie. It's got Jeff Goldblum in it. So, it should be good. Eraserhead. David Lynch's first movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'd like to get into Lynch. Didn't like Dune that much. But I like to watch it again. Roman Polanski's The Tragedy of Macbeth. Really great adaptation of the story. It's really good. Watch it. Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom, another one of my favorites of his. It's a terrific movie. Love the child actors, and it's like the last really good Bruce Willis movie. Inside Llewyn Davis, my favorite of the Coen brothers. It's a great movie. I love the songs. I debate what songs are better. The songs in Inside Llewyn Davis or Oh Brother Where Art Thou. It's a hard one. Fantastic Planet. I haven't seen it yet. But I like to watch just like animated movies that are just not made for kids. And like that's something I want to watch. Blood Simple, the very first Coen Brothers film. It's not that great. Not big into it. It's my least favorite of them. Linklater's Boyhood. My favorite of him. Yeah, just a great film. It's just something that could never be achieved again in film. The idea of making a movie, and not like being like delayed constantly, like a film that is like gonna be made over the course of just 12 years, like all planned out. It's just rare. The Squid and the Whale by Noah Baumbach. I'd like to see more of Noah Baumbach. I really love this film. Love the acting from Jeff Daniels, Laura Linney. But I'm not a big Marriage Story guy. Marriage Story is alright. And I've been watching White Noise, and White Noise, it's not that good, yeah. The Before trilogy. So if you're gonna ask what I like, what is my favorite? So Before Sunrise is a really decent, love story. Love, it's a good idea. That Linklater took from real life when he was was somewhere else in the state with his sister, and he met like a girl out there, and they walked the streets. For Sunset, I actually don't like it that as much as everyone says. Like people say this is the best of the trilogy, and I'm not big into it that much. It's good, but I don't think it's that great. Before Midnight, though, I think it's the best one, which no one, not too many people like it, but I love it. I love how it portrays where the characters are really at. I like they have like a lot of regrets. It feels like the most like adult out of all of them. Like it really because Linklater I think does a good job of like showing all the consequences that of Jesse and Celine of becoming married. Rumblefish, the only Francis Ford Coppola movie that's on the Criterion Collection. This came out the same year as his other S.E. Hinton adaptation, The Outsiders. And people say it's better. And Rumblefish is the only S.E. Hinton book I've read. Read it back in my freshman year, believe it or not. And I really like the book. I would like to see it. And because, believe it or not, Francis Ford Coppola is actually making another movie, so I'm going to have to make another big Steven Spielberg-esque video where I talk about all of his movies. Barry Lyndon, my least favorite Kubrick film. I know that's shocking because a lot of people love Barry Lyndon, and I'm just not a big fan of. I'm not into Barry Lyndon. It's just not my. I like the first half. Act 1. Act 1 is good. Election, the only Alexander Payne movie that's on the collection. It's really good. I love it. Great, just black comedy or teen comedy, whatever you want to call it. I love Election. Matthew Broderick, Reese Witherspoon is great. Now they're making a sequel to it, which I'm very excited for because Alexander Payne's coming back. So it's gonna be good, even though people weren't crazy about downsizing. The Breakfast Club. I'm not a big John Hughes guy. A lot of people love Breakfast Club. A lot of people love it. It's a classic to some people. It's all right. It's all right. Here's a better teen film that I like. The Virgin Suicides. This is an excellent film. The only Sofia Coppola movie that's on the collection. I can't believe Lost in Translation's not on there. But Virgin Suicides, great. That and Lost in Translation are just great movies. The Princess Bride. This is a movie that I've never finished. I've never finished it. And I would like to watch it. I gotta watch it. This is a pretty cool cover. It's in a book format. Very cool. 1984, which came out in 1984. John Hurt. I like to watch it because I like these. It's in because I hear Brazil is somewhat like that. It's somewhat like Brazil, just not as kooky. Europa. Holocaust movie. Has an interesting idea. It's got a young Julia Delpy in it from the Before trilogy. I've been interested in watching it. All About Eve. Haven't seen it, but I hear that it is It won, or like it was nominated for like a lot of awards, like 14 Oscars, and like as much as like Titanic got. I'd like to check it out. Maybe I might watch it on Oscar Sunday, because I like to watch an Oscar movie around that time. Something I won. Bamboozled, the other Spike Lee movie. I'd like to check it out. It looks really funny. It's got Jada Pinkett Smith. Haha. The Grand Budapest Hotel. If you're a big Wes Anderson fan and you would like to get your friend into like Wes Anderson, I'd recommend Grand Budapest Hotel. It's the one that is the most like commercially appealing. It's the one that like regular movie-going audiences can really enjoy. It's very like pulp, flashy, and it's like good enough for like artsy, fartsy people at the same time that like his work. The Great Escape. Steve McQueen movie. It's got Richard Attenborough in it. Haven't seen it yet, but I mean it's a classic that I gotta see. War of the Worlds. So when I was doing my like Spielberg video where I talk about all of his movies, before I saw War of the Worlds, I felt like I needed to see this one because it's like the classic one. It really is like the most classic one out of the bunch. So I watched it before I watched his remake, and I thought it was It is no way like related to the book. It's very different. It really does stray from the book. It's different. It's more like it's a very 1950s movie. The characters aren't great, but the visual effects and sound effects are like Star Wars quality good. Like this, King Kong and 2001: A Space Odyssey is like the best. Like those are like the three best like visual effects movies of like pre 1970s Star Wars King Kong. It is like the effects are good. All right, Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. Haven't seen it. Seen Snowpiercer though. I gotta see Parasite. I really do. Nightmare Alley. The remake was better by Guillermo del Toro. It's still good. It's a good noir, but it does kind of have a bit of like a very forced, just Hollywood ending. The Piano by Jane Campion, Palme d'Or winner, and it's one of the few movies where like a young girl, a child actor, won an Oscar. I'd like to see it. I really liked Power of the Dog. Wasn't my favorite film of 2021, but really good. Should have won the Oscar. Miller's Crossing. This is one of the few movies in a while where I just stopped it because this movie was not. I was not big into this movie, and I consider like one of the best of the like the Coen brothers, like or like the best like gangster films of the like the 90s. Up there with Goodfellas. Like Jesus, this is like up there with put up there with Goodfellas. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's so boring. And I know that sounds so immature, but it really is. Like, at least Blood Simple like had its like cool moments. All I can say about Miller's Crossing, it was the last movie that I think it was like the very last movie to be to have like Barry Sonnenfeld as the DP, director of photography. All right, last movie on the collection, Raging Bull. My favorite Scorsese movie. Love it. Great movie, great cinematography, great performance by De Niro and Pesci. Should have won over Ordinary People, but I guess I think I want to say I think the reason why just because it came out way too close before Rocky, because the Oscars. The thing about the Oscars is that they don't like to sometimes give off awards to movies that are like way too like similar sometimes when they're way too close. So that's it for the Criterion Collections. Now on to my just regular favorite movies. So 2001: A Space Odyssey. Great Stanley Kubrick science fiction film. Love it. Visual effects still hold up. Hal's a great villain. 500 Days of Summer by Mark Webb. Great film. Love Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. 1941. I've expressed before that I really do like this movie. It's a really good comedy. Definitely get this cut. This is like the director's cut. That's 2 hours and 25 minutes. Which you might think like that should not be like the time length for a comedy. But for this movie, it's an exception, I think. Almost Famous bootleg cut. Almost Famous theatrical cut. This is signed by Casey Likes, who plays William Miller in the Broadway show, which is closing very soon, and I'm very, very sad about it. It was a really good adaptation of the show. I loved everyone in it. Great production, and had Cameron Crowe to save it from, like, it could have, really, I think it could have been bad if Cameron Crowe didn't work on it, but great show. Great movie, too. Love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. I also love Almost Famous, the movie. Woody Allen's Annie Hall famously won Best Picture for the 1978 Oscars, beating Star Wars. And if you actually just, if you separate that fact and also just Woody Allen in general, what he's done, it is an entertainingly good movie. I liked it. The Austin Powers trilogy, really funny trilogy. I love it. Think about Austin Powers making a fourth one. I think it could be a great idea, having Austin Powers in the 20s. I think it could be a great idea with the culture today. But I don't know if you could do it with Vern Troyer. But at the same time, the first Austin Powers was good and he wasn't it. So, I don't know. Adaptation. Really great. Spike Jonze, Charlie Kaufman joint. Not as good as Being John Malkovich, but it's a really good meta sequel, I'd say, to Being John Malkovich. Airplane, my favorite of the spoof screwball comedies of the 80s, 70s. Really funny. I'm very sad that that era is kind of gone. I mean, I know the Deadpool movies are kind of on that level, but I miss films like Airplane and Spaceballs. I really just deeply miss them. All Quiet on the Western Front. Pretty fantastic war movie. First Best Picture winner to have the one Best Director as well, which was weird. I found out that the first two Oscars did not win did not get a director award. But All Quiet on the Western Front, really terrific war movie. Also, I love the Netflix movie too. Back to the Future 30th anniversary set. Great set. Comes with the trilogy. And then the animated series. I've watched that and it's a show. It's a show. I like to rewatch the Back to the Future again. It's always a great franchise to go back to rewatch. Borat, terrific comedy. Sequel wasn't that great. As I think about it more, it was way too political. And I know that film was political, but it was a good balance. Big. I haven't seen it for a while, but I really did love it. Good Tom Hanks movie. Spielberg was supposed to direct that movie. Brokeback Mountain. Love to rewatch this movie. I think that or Munich should have won the Best Picture award. Sorry about that. My cat's outside meowing. Birdman, terrific film. If you ask what I think is the best of the out of the 4 2014 movies of the Oscars, Birdman, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, and Whiplash. Grand Budapest Hotel is my favorite out of the 4. I'm trying to think which is better. I do think Birdman and Boyhood are both achievements and what they did for film. That is just a hard question for the Oscars, but Birdman, if you watch the Oscar experts video on this movie, on that year of the Oscars, Like, Birdman came out, like, little later after, like, the Boyhood hype. So that's a good reason why, I guess. The Blues Brothers, terrific comedy by John Landis. Really good movie. Really, really good. I haven't seen the sequel. Don't want to, but if I ever have to make a John Landis, like, ranking someday, I might have to watch it. Burn After Reading. Terrific Coen Brothers movie. Love it. Underrated. More people need to watch it. Brad Pitt's in it. The only performance that Brad Pitt ever did. Catch Me If You Can. I've talked about this movie before. I love it. It's great. Great Spielberg film. My second favorite of his. Children of Men. Excellent, excellent, excellent science fiction film. One of the best science fiction films of the decade. I mean, of this I think this century. It's like one of the best. It's terrific. Children of Men. Excellent movie. Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I have infamously said before that I think this is the best David Fincher film, or my favorite that I've seen out of all of his so far. So I haven't seen Fight Club. I know people are gonna like hate on me for just saying that I love this movie, but I haven't even seen Fight Club. I'll see Fight Club eventually, because I know he has another movie coming out in 2023. Die Hard, fantastic. I don't want to talk about it. It's great. The Dark Knight trilogy, fantastic trilogy. I'm split if I do like Batman Begins, because Batman Begins is good. I don't like it as much as the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Dunkirk. Great Christopher Nolan movie, but it's definitely it's not rewatchable. I would agree on people when people say like it's not a rewatchable movie, because it's definitely a movie theater movie. And I didn't see it in the theater, sadly. I saw it at home, and I still loved it. I mean, I will watch it when I'm gonna rewatch all of his movies when Oppenheimer comes out. Empire of the Sun, another really underrated Spielberg film that I really loved. John Malkovich, Joe Pantoliano, Christian Bale at a very young age. Terrific. Everything Ever All at Once. I'm going to talk about this movie when I get to my list. I'm not going to say anything. Everybody Wants Some. Linklater's like spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. God, this movie went under the radar. And I definitely remember this when this movie like came out. I just remember seeing it on things that said like what's playing at the theater. I remember that was on, and I didn't see it, of course, because it was rated R, and I was like 9. I couldn't see it back then. But God, this movie really went under the radar, like below the radar. Like I can't believe it. Like no one saw it, and I think it's a pretty decent movie. It's one of the best of 2016. Everyone says that's like a terrible year for movies. Yeah, it's because everyone's fucking seeing all those DC Marvel shit, you know? Elf! I haven't watched this movie in a while, just because of the hype. I didn't watch it this Christmas. Come to think, I didn't really even watch that many Christmas movies this Christmas, because I'm so Christmased out of Christmas movies. First Blood. Terrific first movie. Didn't need a bunch of sequels. I've tried to get into Rambo First Blood Part 2, and I just couldn't. First Blood is great. Sylvester Stallone gives a great performance. I think he should have won the Best Actor award that year, but I haven't seen Gandhi. I don't know. The French Dispatch. I really like to rewatch this movie because my mom made me miss Bill Murray's death scene because I had to get something like at the concession stand. Fuck. I don't now. That's what I'm a little mad at, but I really do want to see this movie again. My whole issue is I think the anthology route was like pretty hard for him, because I wish those movies were I wish he just made like too long, made those like hour long stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna rewatch them again and I'll see what I think. Fargo, my third favorite Coen Brothers movie. Really good dark comedy. McDormand gives like one of the best performances ever. It's great. Full Metal Jacket, my second favorite Stanley Kubrick film. Arlie Ermey's fucking great. Should have won supporting actor. And it's amazing. Amazing, amazing movie. Ghostbusters, my favorite comedy. Afterlife, haven't opened it yet. I haven't rewatched it. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but I'm obviously going to watch it when the sequel comes out. So I'll see if I like it then. I mean, I wanted to watch it with a friend who sadly moved, so I couldn't like sit down and watch it with him. And his dad was actually an extra in the first Ghostbusters. Groundhog Day, terrific Bill Murray comedy. I want to say my favorite Bill Murray comedy, because Ghostbusters was a lot more like it was more like an ensemble film, but like my favorite Bill Murray movie, like it's just him, like it's his movie. Godfather Parts 1 and 2, terrific movies, one of my favorite movies, both of these movies. I mean, I like Part 2 a lot more just because of the the flashback aspect. That's what I mostly love about it. Third movie we'll get to. Another gangster movie follow up with Goodfellas, terrific. I don't like it as much as like The Godfather. It's not even my favorite, it's not my favorite of like gangster Scorsese. But it is really good. Joe Pesci's awesome. Gangs of New York. Very, very underrated Scorsese movie. Very underrated. I really love this movie. I think its only issue is really its editing, but I love it. Cameron Diaz, she's not awful, but it's just not a great performance. Alright, so last movie for the G's. Gladiator. Terrific Best Picture winner. As much as I love Almost Famous from that year, 2000, I think Gladiator did deserve the Best Picture because it is a really just fantastic film by Ridley Scott. Russell Crowe's great. It's a great epic, though I haven't seen The Last Duel, I don't think Ridley Scott can ever like top this. He just can't top this movie. Alright, so now I gotta get more DVDs.